When Ginuwine proclaimed that his whole life had changed in that one song, he sure wasn't kidding. With the fame came the fortune, the honeys, and of course the haters. But unfortunately for some, fame would exacerbate problems within the family that either were or weren't there before. For Ginuwine, his family-related issues derived long before he hit the scene with Pony. With multiple baby mamas, unruly children, and an estranged brother out here spilling all the family tea, I think it's safe to say Gin has quite the dysfunctional family. One he's been trying to keep under wraps for decades. But over here at True Celebrity Stories, you already know we bring out the big guns and exclusives. So follow us as we take a look inside of Ginuwine's toxic household. The 6-foot-something bachelor himself with the extravagant dance moves and rumored S-curl texturizer has been on our radar since the late 90s when he swept us off our feet with his Timbaland-produced hit, Pony, catapulting Elgin Baylor Lumpkin into an R&B heartthrob almost instantly. Those rich vocals and baby hairs made him stick out like a sore thumb, and the ladies definitely were swooning over all of his fineness. He wasn't shy, not one bit. All you had to do was look in Ginuwine's direction, and he was willing to drop the drawers. That explains all of them baby mamas, 5 to be exact, before he eventually settled down with his one true pairing, or so we thought, Tanya Johnston, also known as the rapper Soleil. Ginuwine was out here giving it to anybody willing to take it. His whole ventures came to a halt when The Bachelor was taken off the market in 2003, when he got married to the mother of 2 out of 30 of his kids, Soleil. His marriage to Soleil also made him the stepfather to 2 of her own children she had before getting with him, Dijon and Cypress, which according to Ginuwine's biological kids, seem to be more of a priority to Gin than they are. More specifically, his daughter, Tiffany Nicole, who didn't hold back in 2012 when she put her famous daddy on blast via Twitter, Instagram, and whichever platforms of social media she could get her hands on. Maybe even LinkedIn if she had it. Posting a side-by-side image of herself and her dad, Tiffany shared that although some wish they had a father, she wished she had never met hers, along with the hashtag lookalike, nothing alike. She also made sure to remind him on the daily just how much of a deadbeat he truly was, and gave him a little shout out in the midst of it all. A slightly threatening shout out that involved a fist and nose emojis, hinting that the next time she saw him, he was getting served a 2-piece. This didn't come without an array of short text exchanges between herself and Ginuwine, one where he allegedly calls her the B word. From what we can see, the texts start off with Tiffany texting her dad, "Wake up, DeadBeat. Your kids are still alive. Thank God for that." Apparently, Gin was not here for his daughter's confrontational message and took it as disrespect and was quick to call Tiffany out of her name like she was some random chick off the street. "You are such a disrespectful little ungrateful bitch. Don't you ever call me for ish. Ever. DeadBeat that. Get lost." That B word really set Miss Tiffany Nicole all the way off because the audacity. Who you calling a britch? You don't even know me to call me a britch. What's my favorite color, britch? Hey DeadBeat, are you having a bad day yet? I hope you are. You don't miss your grandkids yet? You so trifling and pitiful. I wish they could put trifling fathers like you on the front of pizza boxes so you could be known and you can't fake and act phony in front of people anymore. She also made sure to shout out her mother-father for being goated and taking care of her all on her own, and decided to be even more petty by tagging Ginuwine's Twitter handle in the process. Aside from troubles with his daughter, Ginuwine's relationship troubles with now ex-wife Soleil also has caused great speculation throughout their entire marriage. The question isn't whether he cheated or not. The question is, how many times did he do it? Saying "I do" to a man like Dr. Knockemup without commitment is pretty risky. However, Soleil just knew she'd be the one to make Mr. Community Schlong sit his pretty tail self right on down. Boy, was she wrong. Rumor has it, Ginuwine has been sneak-deaking since he popped the big question, and since Soleil popped out their babies. In 2001 and 2002, Ginuwine and his wife welcomed their baby girls, Story and Dream, making this the couple's only children they shared together. And despite Jin being a serial man whore, he is, or was, a fantastic father to his youngest daughters, as well as his two stepdaughters, Cypress and Dajan. Matter of fact, let Tiffany and him tell it, he treats his stepkids better than his bio children. After telling his wife he'd stop sleeping with everybody and they mamas in the neighborhood, and after a public Twitter spat she got into with one of her husband's alleged mistresses, Soleil finally had enough and told Ginuwine to hit the road and take his 50-loving kids with him. Don't just take our word for it. Ginuwine will be the first to tell you that infidelity led to him and Soleil's split. He'd also let you know that having multiple baby mamas ain't the move. During an interview with Sister to Sister magazine, Jin confessed that his baby mama life really ain't it. When you have a baby mama here, a baby mama there, it's going to be drama, period. Regardless of what one says to you. I'm not going to trip like that. I'm cool and all that. After a while, that goes out the window. After you leave that one person and you find love elsewhere, that person that you were with, they hate that. Soleil went on to marry someone more her speed, Professor Griff from the group Public Enemy, leaving Ginuwine to roam the streets and venues as much as he'd like. The family he created was deteriorating right before his very eyes, but not necessarily as fast as the one he was involuntarily born into. After a relative, more specifically his own brother, James Lumpkin, was found word vomiting on certain gossip sites, fans were left to wonder if everything was all right in the Lumpkin household. Needless to say, things weren't. From what we can tell, most fans weren't even aware that Ginuwine had a brother, an intellectual bookworm that was deemed the brains of the family, contrary to Ginuwine's vocal talents and charming looks. James and Ginuwine never did quite see eye to eye. Jin and the rest of the fam would even pick on poor James in their earlier years due to his intellect, while everyone else in the family had the swag. Did this cause a rift in their relationship when Ginuwine's career took off? Well, not necessarily. Before Ginuwine was Ginuwine, before he was even Tornado, real ones remember, it had been James Lumpkin shooting with Jin in the gym, escorting his brother into studios when he first tried to get on, even scoring his first entry in a magazine. And yet, none of that stopped G from briefly talking about his older brother on national television during a TV One Life After segment. It's also been reported that ex-wife Soleil and her two daughters, Dream and Story, have all blocked him on the socials, yet the rest of Jin's kids and their fam appear to have no issue with Uncle James. Matter of fact, despite them never being as close as the Wayans, James says his relationship with Ginuwine didn't get rocky till after Jin linked up with Jodeci. Going into more depth, he says they were cool up until an incident involving him, Ginuwine, Devontae Swing, and a woman broke the band up. An incident so intense that James says if Devontae were to walk in a room with him right now, it's on sight. Okay, maybe he didn't say all of that, but he did say it'd be crickets. You can't pay him to speak to that dude ever again. We may never know what Devontae did that caused such a reaction, but rumor has it, it was all over D Swing stealing James's girl. But oh, not so fast. James may not be all that innocent. Along with others claiming to have been stalked and harassed by the web developer Rolita White, a member of Devontae's debasement camp came for Mr. Lumpkin's jugular after James gave his opinion about Mr. Swing, confessing that no one in debasement even knew Ginuwine had a brother because he was ashamed of him. Ashamed of his antics? Or ashamed that he wasn't nearly as cool or down as his brother Elgin? Either way, as of today, James Lumpkin seems to be on good terms with all of his nieces and nephews, including Dream and Story. As far as the relationship with his brother goes, we still aren't too sure on that, but we hope the two have been able to rekindle a once estranged relationship, especially after the back-to-back deaths of both of their parents. James Lumpkin II, a bus driver who died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound in 1999, and his wife, Sandra Lumpkin, who passed away from cancer just a few months later in the year 2000. Following the devastating losses, Ginuwine spiraled into a deep, dark depression and used self-medicating tactics such as weed and ecstasy as forms of healing. If only he had his brother to lean on. Tiffany and her dad have made amends. He and Soleil are still really good friends, co-parenting as best as they can, even attended her wedding to Professor Griff, and Jen actively tries to include all 9 of his kids in everything he does. Ginuwine's family is dysfunctional at best, but he's actively striving to right his wrongs. And if it wasn't clear enough, he only has 9 kids. Although we wouldn't be surprised if more are out there. How do you feel about Ginuwine's dysfunctional family? Can you relate? Let us know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. And stay tuned for more true celebrity stories.